Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by SoundCloud Studios, brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Moses and Missing, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Coming soon, Missing 2, Double the Suspense, Double the Fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by a sweet psalm special Raina Wagner, based on the life of David, including 30 exquisite paintings and King David Psalms. Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalmist Raina Wagner. And check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, 50 podcast platforms, heard in over 110 countries. Follow us on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, and more as well. Well, here's an amazing gentleman who's an author and retired Army officer who served in both the classified and the officer ranks and lives in north of San Antonio with the two rescue dogs. He has a bachelor's in psychology, master's in human resources, post-grad diploma in strategic intelligence from the Defense Intelligence College, and also served during the Don't Ask, Don't Tell regarding the gay service members. Has a new book out there, which is taking place during that Don't Tell, Don't Tell, Don't Ask, Don't Tell period. The book is called Early This Morning. Live, ladies and gentlemen, plus dudes in beautiful downtown San Antonio, the amazing author, retired Army officer who served in both classified and the officer ranks. Book is called Earlier This Morning. We've got the multi-talented Darrell Barry. Darrell, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Mike. Nice to see you.
Well, it's great to have you on board, Darrell. So you're an author and retired Army officer. You serve both classified and the officer ranks. You live in San Antonio with your two rescue dogs. You have a bachelor's in psychology, master's in human resources, post-grad diploma in strategic intelligence from the Defense Intelligence College. You served during the Don't Ask, Don't Tell period as well, too. And the new book talks about that, which basically it's in the military or a group of high-ranking officers at the Pentagon and some congressmen trying to rid them in the Army and most likely die. It's a chilling book called Earlier This Morning. Before getting all that, Darrell, tell us how you first got started.
Having lived through the Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and worked in the intel field, specifically biological agents, it seemed a good match for me. And actually, I love mysteries, and so I've always kind of wanted to write a mystery. And I thought, I may have the material here to do one. So that's kind of where I got started. And I'd write a little bit, put it away, put it away. And finally, I decided about the time I was getting out of the service, hey, if you're going to do this, it'll be the time to do it. So I just sit down and wrote it. It was fun. Hopefully, it'll be a page turner for folks that want to read it.
Mm-hmm. And I could see as a page turner as well too. And what's that one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you do in the rest of your career?
As far as writing the book,
correct. Yeah, that one precise moment said, "I'm simply going to write," like the
I see what you mean.
Occurrence and all that. Yes.
I think it had to do really with memory because about the time I was getting out, everything was fresh. I didn't get out until like 97, but everything was fresh in my mind. And, a lot of the locations that I write about are correct locations, even though it's a fictitious book. So I think that was it. It was just, I didn't want to lose my memory on some of the details that I was writing about as I got older. So I thought that this would be the time to do it.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the memories that you had too that you vividly happened? Maybe a few can jump out here.
Yeah. Well, as you were saying, the book is about a bunch of officers in the Pentagon trying to get rid of gays and lesbians. And a mission comes down. It's a top secret mission, very dangerous. And they come up with an idea, why don't we just spy on these gays and lesbians, gather them together in one spot, train them, and send them on this mission. Hopefully, they'll find out a lot of good information for us. But if they get sick and die, which they probably will, who cares? They're expendable. Well, that's the purpose of the book. Now, of course, it is fiction, but I will say this. I did experience things like being in a gay bar, and someone, not necessarily a friend, but just somebody that knew I was in the military, coming over to me and saying, "They're here."
Ooh.
Just they're here. And I know what that means. They're either military police or, someone that are looking for people in a bar. So I didn't do anything differently. I mean, I figured I'm just there drinking, but that little code words were used like that. Well, I used a little bit of that type of experience in the book. Of course, the book goes into much more dramatic.
Right. Yeah. Just like, hey, I like your coat, which is code for, hey, get this guy out of here. Or simply say, hey, I like your hat. That means it's like, potential suspect, whatever it is.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's known, that went on for sure. So that part was not made up. And the book actually opens with some very realistic situations. And then, of course, it carries on through the whole process of them being spied on and go on this mission.
Mhm.
So,
And besides, you being in a bar that you talked about, what are some of the other events that you had? Maybe another one that just jumped out, which is like whew, close call, or just or like say, hey, this is something you got to learn from, guys. Don't yeah, like that.
yeah. Not necessarily. Well, I tell you this, during Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which was about 1994 through 2011, during that period of time, the situation was no one is to ask gay service members if they're gay, and the gay service members are not to tell. Well, that being said, that was kind of a stopgap between absolutely being outlawed and then later on when Obama came in to being everything was okay with being gay. But anyway, during that period, people were still being kicked out. They for some reason they were found out, and a lot of very, very talented people were kicked out of the military. So that was another impetus for me to write the book. Now, nothing, I didn't have any close calls like that, but it's certainly there were many, many, many fellow service members that were discharged because that was highly suspected. Let's put it like this, that they were
Mhm.
gay.
In other words, it's more like sexual orientation. What would you say, like the ratio, like 1 in 3, 1 in 4, 1 in 5, 1 in 10, or anything like that? I've asked for percentages, but it sounds like there's like a ratio, like 1 in 3, 1 in 5. What do you say the ratio would be? I mean,
That's
just a
an
guess for you.
that's an interesting question, Mike. I've heard all sorts of things. The United States military is basically a cross section of our society. Not quite, but basically. And a lot of folks say that, like, 1 in 10 people are gay or bi. I don't know if that's, I think that would be hard to get those stats, but that seems to be a thing that goes around a lot. Now, for the military, it's probably the same way, but back then you just weren't going to get, I mean, nobody was saying anything. So there was no way to gather that type of information. But most things that I read, stats that I read, like 1 in 10, I don't know.
Yeah, I figure about 1 in 10 to be safe. Some say 1 in 3, 1 in 5, and 1 in 10, everything like that. We'll talk more about the book earlier this morning with Darrell Barry in just 1 minute. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundCloud Studios. Visit online at soundclubstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable, customized designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor, the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Molson Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those who love be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson Zia has garnered great reviews. An Evil Evan endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassie, Forrest Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. 4 Goes Missing by Mia Molson Zia, available on Amazon. Coming soon, Missing 2, Double Expense, Double of Fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by A Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including 30 exquisite paintings and King David's Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives new perspective of the Psalms he wrote and his time as a shepherd where it started, and complicate your turbulent relationship with King Saul. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, hope, and more. Check out The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner on Amazon Keyword Sweet Summit Sereno Way. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, 50 podcast platforms, heard over 110 countries. Take us with you on any mobile device. Follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, also BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Spotify, Apple, and more. And for t-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/MiaMolsonZia. Great books, merchandise, and more. And support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here, amazing author, retired Army officer, served in both classified and officer ranks, Darrell Barry, here on the Mike Wagner Show with his book Early This Morning. And before we get back to the book about Early This Morning, how'd you first get involved with the armed forces?
I was drafted at the
Or some do
very
it by choice, or
well, I was drafted at the very, very end of the Vietnam War. And when I got my draft notice, I thought, wow, if I'm going to be drafted, I think I want to be a medic. So I ran down and joined real quick, because if you joined during that period of time, you could choose what you wanted. And so I joined. Sure enough, they trained me for a medic, and then later on an operating room technician. And so that's how I became an enlisted personnel, did my 3 years, didn't have to go to Vietnam, and then got out, finished school, and came back as an officer. But yeah, the initial part was that draft notice. But for me, it worked out. I mean, I enjoyed my time in the military.
okay. And plus, you've been an officer. What were some of the titles that you had as an officer as well, too, being classified, the ranks, and what are some of the ranks that you held, and you know, and where'd you end up at before you retired? So tell me
Oh,
about
okay.
some ranks you're in.
Yeah, well, of course, I came in as absolutely bottom private, and then I retired as a lieutenant colonel.
Okay. And how about some of the missions that you have been on as well, too, and maybe a bit more about what's like the most, the one mission that really stood out for you?
Uh, well, now the classified ones, I can't really say too much about, but I mean, I was not like a spy myself, but I worked in intel, and I think some of the most interesting, or really some of the things that I allude to in the book, and that is, looking at other countries to see if they're developing biological agents in quantities large enough to weaponize. And we did other things. We followed diseases and whatnot, because if we deploy somewhere, we want to be able to know if it's malaria is there. We want to be able to, take the medication for malaria before we get there and things like that. That was an incredibly interesting tour of duty, that intel duty. Um, and then I did a lot of other things. I worked personnel logistics, just training, uh, had a variety of things, but the intel was absolutely one of the most fascinating fields.
Hmm. And plus, you also did some other work too. Yeah, bachelor in psychology, master's in human resources, and you also had a post-grad diploma in strategic intelligence from Defense Intelligence College. I think that's a really interesting school to go to.
Yes, it was all. It's top secret. The not every class is top secret, but you have to have a top secret clearance with special background investigation. Excuse me. And actually, I had to go to that college there in order to work in the intel field, in my particular part of the intel field. And yes, that was another and luckily Uncle Sam paid for that, but that was another very, very interesting aspect of my career, the school leading up to working in intel.
Hmm. And plus, this also applied to a book as well, too, that in the book with earlier this morning, that you embark on a covert investigation as well, too. And we talked about the country's biological agents.
Yeah, there's, of course, I have to watch. When I was beginning to write this book, the one thing I had to be very, very careful about is because I was alluding to things that are quite classified. So I had to make sure that everything that I wrote was not. And I can guarantee you, anything in the book is nothing in the book. Let me just put it like that, is classified. It's all open source. So because a lot of people, if you write things after you get out of the military in that field, you have to be cleared. Well, I didn't have to be cleared because it's all fiction and I just made the book up. But of course, the ideas I got from from reality, let's put it like that.
Especially when it comes to being over next to its nuts, navigate a landscape filled with deceit, secrecy, and unforeseen challenges. It sounds like what's going on in today's government.
Yeah, it's so strange because when I self-published the book and I just sort of put it on the shelf, didn't do anything with it, and then I was encouraged to get it published, which I did through Atmosphere Press. And of course, I had no way of knowing what the situation is today. The book just came out in May, but it's sort of apropos because of what, now things that are happening. You're kind of it's a fictitious book, but I want people when they read it to think, I wonder how far off are we from from fiction here, in the current situation.
Mhm.
Not to get too political, but just
Right, exactly. And do you think they'll and do you think the current administration would be accepting of this, or if you're staying during the Trump administration, how would things be different for you?
I don't know. Uh, I often think, though, this book maybe would not be able to be placed in some libraries in Texas. I don't, I don't know. You can get it on Amazon, and I haven't tried, but I can tell you there's some counties that would not accept this book.
Hmm. Right, exactly. And of course, getting back to book as well, too, that the crucial mission promises to advance the general's career. Does it advance it, or was it just a promise, or was it just you think that when not give away the book, you think it's just like just kind of just backed off on it?
Yeah, I don't want to, like you say, I don't want to give away it. It's looking really good for the general for a long way through the book, and he never backs off. Uh, but I'll leave it at that because I don't want to give too much away.
Right, exactly. And of course, I just had one more thing with the don't ask, don't tell policy, everything like that. If you're in charge of the don't ask, don't tell, what changes would you make in the policy?
Well, it was, I hate to criticize it too. It was not a really good policy, but it was better than absolutely, before 94, it was against the law to be gay in the military for everybody. Okay, so people were being kicked out and investigated. Don't ask, don't tell was a stopgap, intermediate way of being able to be in the military. You just couldn't really be yourself. And then, of course, in 1994, Obama lifted that, and now it doesn't matter. You can be gay in the military, no problem. So it was a stopgap measure. A lot of people are very, very critical of it. I'm not that critical of it because I think it was a step to getting to where we are today.
Okay. Okay. And do you think the other country is also following suit on that one?
Maybe. Of course, we were actually behind several countries that allowed gays in way before we did. But Mike, that's an interesting question. I wonder if that kind of opened the doors maybe here in the States for other countries to be, more liberal on that. I just don't know.
Okay. Okay. And plus also the book as well, too, early this morning. And, being about, like I said, it's a group of high ranking officers, Pentagon, some congressmen trying to rid the homes of Army who would most likely die and everything like that. And what else you want to get people from the book or to be aware of?
I think 10 years ago, I wouldn't have said this, but today I would say I would want people to, other than just hopefully enjoying the book, to make them think, it wasn't that many years ago. We were kind of in the dark ages on gays and lesbians in the military. And more importantly, we may not be that many years off of it going back to that situation because of the current, you know, political environment that we live in now. So I think enjoy the book. It's fiction, it's a mystery, but also think, wow, could this happen again?
I start to suspect that right now in the times we're in, and I think your timing of the book is just perfect on this one. So, more on the book earlier this morning with Darrell Barry in just 1 minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundCloud Studios. Brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Moses is Missing, The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including theories, quiz of pains, and Ken David Psalms. Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. We'll be back to multi-tale Darrell Barry of earlier this morning after this time out. We're back with author Darrell Barry of earlier this morning here on the Mike Wagner Show. And just any final thoughts about the book earlier this morning?
Well, just it's on Amazon. Again, I'll say it's totally fiction, but and I hope it's a fast page turner. But I would like people just to kind of, after they read it, think about it and just kind of wonder. We were there a few years ago. Hopefully, we don't go back there in a few years from now. I think that's what I want to leave with folks.
Okay, and what's your website, and how do people get a hold of your book?
Okay, you could get a hold of my book on Amazon and my website, and you're welcome to contact me on my website is dberrybooks.com. That's DBERRYBOOKS.com. I don't know if you should.
Okay. All right. We'll certainly check that out as well, too. And we're here with author Darrell Barry earlier this morning here on the Mike Wagner Show. And just a few more things. What else can we expect in 2025 and beyond?
I'm working actually on, well, two things. There's some folks that are looking at maybe making the book into a screenplay.
Nice.
But that's at the very beginning stages of that. And I hope to be involved in that. Not that I would write it, but I hope to be involved in that. And also, I'm working on the second book at the very beginning stages. It's another mystery, and it's going to deal with a Lyft or Uber driver and the characters that he is in contact with during his drives on a daily basis. But there's going to be intrigue involved in it, and mystery and whatnot. So those are the two things that are coming up.
I can certainly think a lot of Uber drivers connected to all of this. So if you're an Uber driver, pay attention. I got to say that. Oh, you got that right. Who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Oh my gosh, the biggest influence of there's so many people that I look up to. Um, the that's a good question. I never thought of that because people influence me, not only my superiors, the folks over me, but so many people influence me that work for me, that I outranked, but yet were huge influences on me because of their character and whatnot. So I don't know about any one person, but I think in the military, both my superiors and my subordinates were tremendous influences on me.
Certainly, indeed, as well, too. Very good influences. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
As far as writing a book, or
in general?
Oh, well, if you're looking to write a book, and so many people ask me about this, and oh my gosh, how can I get started? How can I do this? How can I do it? My simple phrase to them, and it was told to me, which got me writing mine, is just sit down and start writing. That's it. Don't overthink it. Just sit down and start writing.
And I think that's a great idea, too. I think many of us need to do that, Darrell. So we got to do that. We're here with amazing author Darrell Barry of earlier this morning here on the Mike Wagner Show. Darrell, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot. Looking forward to having you soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Laugh at you back. And what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your book?
Yes, the Amazon. You can get the book on Amazon, and the website is DBERRYBOOKS.com.
We'll certainly check that out. Once again, Darrell, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Glad to have you back. We wish you all the best. And Darrell, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Oh, thanks. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.